Hello guys, this is Silver, Simon Black from Silverpack Kingdoms, and today we're going to talk about a very taboo topic, which is reality shifting. Before we start, be sure that if you're new, you subscribe to the channel to get more videos like this, or about shapeshifting or other sort of paranormal stuff. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share. And click on that little bell to get all the notifications if you don't want to miss any videos. Let's start! Reality shifting is a very advanced form of astral projection in which you travel to another reality. It can be a made-up reality of your choosing, or an existing one, a parallel one. The world is yours, so you get to decide. Some people decide to astral project through space and time, while some other people, like me, project to other realities or parallel dimensions. And now I can hear a lot of you being like, oh my god, you're delusional, oh, this is not real, reality shifting is just like a self-induced psychosis or symptoms of schizophrenia, or, you know, you're mentally healed in general. But no, it's not. And I will talk about this today, because I understand where your doubts come from, as I was very skeptical myself in the first place. And like everyone here, at first I was like, no, there's no way this is real. I didn't know that like reality shifting was actually an astral projection, a very advanced form of it. And I had to experience it myself to make sure this is real. Because the way I function, I base my beliefs mostly on the scientific method. Like I try things and I need proofs, and really I am like 100% honest with every experience I do. And I experience all kinds of things in my life, paranormal stuff. Before I start, know that most people reach the reality shifting per se from 1 year to 3 years of practice, daily practices. And that's what I say. For me, it took me 2 months of the lucid dreaming method, which didn't work. I also used intentions, subliminals, like voice subliminals within the video, and different kind of frequencies, but nothing worked so far. But when I tried this Hemisync gateway process frequency from the gateway process experiment from the CIA, I've had results within 1 day. And then the 3 next days, I had very lucid dreams. And this morning, I mini shifted. So I had like 2 lucid dreams in a row, and I've done reality checks in it, and I realized I was in a dream, and I could experience some stuff. At some point, I could use some kind of like, some of my senses, like touch. I could feel the rain on my skin, I could feel my cell phone and being aware I'm in a dream. But then I had a really weird dream afterward. Like I fell into a parallel dimension in which I was in my parents' house when I was a child, and I heard my dad, I was like laying in my bed, and I heard my dad talking to my little sister, and he was teaching her how to read in the living room. So I stood up thinking I was just in my normal reality. I did not understood. Even if I live in a house now, which is like very far away from my parents' house, and that I grew up, in my head somehow, in that dimension, I still thought I was in my childhood bedroom, which did not even change decors and anything. So I did not like told myself, oh, I'm in a dream right now, blah blah blah. No. It wasn't like the 2 lucid dreams I had previously. It was different. So I stood up and was like, yawning and stretching, just like being casual, about to investigate why my dad was trying to teach my sister to read when she's 22 years old. When I tried to stand up, I lost my balance, just like the sleep paralysis I had previously. And it had me going like, what the fuck? And I was like, at this moment, I questioned myself, am I dreaming? Am I in reality now, or am I in a lucid dream? So I stood up, and my vision was a bit blurry because I almost fell, and I stood up and it rang a bell in my head. I was like, something's off. And I was like, okay, if this is a dream or lucid dream, I'll be able to manipulate it, to control it. So I tried to change it to like my Horizon VR, which didn't work because I thought for myself, there's something off. I went to the door and touched the door and was like, if I'm dreaming, I'm gonna be able to feel and to like cross the door with my finger, which I did in my first astral projection years ago. I've taken my whole body through the wardrobe, and I tried to do that, and it didn't work. But I was aware, and it felt really real to me. So real that I was just telling myself, oh, I'm disappointed because this is just reality. I thought I was in my current reality. But I was like years ago in my parents' house, in my old bedroom, and I thought this was real. I thought this was what was I experiencing, like normal daily stuff. I thought it was in reality, but I wasn't. And it felt so real. It was the morning, it was very early in the morning, and I could see the light coming through the window, and it was very real. Like, and I had 2 lucid dreams before that, and I could figure out it was lucid dreaming, so I was like, what the fuck? So, I went in the living room, and there was nobody. No one in the house. I think there was a strange dog, but I'm not even sure about that. Then I woke up, and I just... Okay. What the fuck just happened? I was just standing in my real bed this time, and figuring out... Okay. I've had 2 lucid dreams. I was disappointed even because I told myself I didn't shift. But then I remembered that last part of the dream in which I was in my bedroom at my parents' house, and I was like, oh my god! I really shifted! Or I think I did. Because this really felt like more real than the lucid dreams I had, so I'm really staying open-minded to what's next, and I'm going to update this as I go, because it's very fascinating for me. This reality shifting, it seems real, and I'm so excited because that means maybe this Horizon reality exists for real, and I can go there. So yes, with my own experiments, I'm going more for the maybe reality shifting is just like a very advanced astral projection. And I tend to believe in it, yes, and I really want to continue this journey. I'm so excited, I'm so happy I shifted this morning because holy shit, I was so depressive yesterday. I even had like dark thoughts about my life sucking and stuff, but I tried this meditation because I was trying for to reality shift for 2 months, and I barely had any lucid dreamings or whatever, and I was mad, like very 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 disappointed and very sad, like sad to the bones. I remember I even told my partner that I literally told him I'm starting to have dark thoughts again because I had this shadow work nightmare the morning before that, and it was really emotional for me, ruined my day and my mood and stuff, and it was really hard, but it was worth it apparently. Now, how can science explain this reality shifting thing if it's real, you know? If it's real. My theory on this is it's a very advanced form of astral projection, as I said before. Now, what is astral projection? It's when your body is in a sleeping state or a death state or a near-death state, and your soul pops out of the body, somehow keeps living on without the physical vessel. That is your physical body in the 3D, in the third dimension. And these anti-shifters will hate this thing because science actually proves that astral projection is real and really really happens. And even though they can't explain it fully, they've taken a lot of statistics and they've experienced it on many people. They've gathered some information about people who which had near-death experiences or OBE, out-of-body experiments.
So what happens when we die? It's a question that humanity has wrestled with throughout history. But a new study conducted by NYU may have found some answers. Dr. Sam Parnia is the director of critical care and resuscitation research at NYU Langone School of Medicine, where he ran this study. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Parnia.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
What would you say? What actually happens when you're clinically dead?
You know, when people die, essentially it's when the heart stops. So this has been going on for, as far as we know, millennia, not longer. And when the heart stops, you stop breathing and your brain shuts down, and that's how we declare people dead. And that's why we give a time of death and we give them a note. And really, to be honest with you, until about 50 years ago, that was the point of death. So people become lifeless, motionless, the brain shuts down. But now through advances in medicine, we can actually bring people back to life even after they've gone beyond that threshold of death, and study what happens to them. And one of the interesting things, of course, is that the brain completely shuts down, as I said. But what's fascinating is that the cells inside the body, and particularly the cells inside the brain, do not suddenly become annihilated. They go through a process of decay that can take a few hours, which is why we can actually medically bring people back to life after they have technically gone beyond that threshold of death for tens of minutes, if not hours of time afterwards. And that, of course, raises many interesting questions about what happens when we die.
So tell me more about this study. How did you conduct it? And tell me about, how you came about reaching your findings, your conclusion.
No, I'm an intensive care doctor, so my job is to essentially save people's lives and prevent them from dying. But unfortunately, people do die, and we try to revive them. What we have found is that over the last few decades, many millions of people have now come back, and many of them have reported, actually, anecdotally, that they've been able to see and hear things going on, even though from our perspective, they should have been dead and their brain should not be functioning at all. And so we became intrigued to study this, one, because it was fascinating, and two, because we try to revive people without brain damage and to ensure they don't have any disorders of consciousness, so not becoming like brain damaged or having a vegetative state. At any rate, so this particular study is the largest study ever carried out in the world. It was done in 15 medical centers across the US and in Europe. And we studied more than 2,000 people who'd gone through this cardiac arrest or process of death. And we did not expect people to have any consciousness or awareness, but intriguingly, up to 40% of people came back and had a perception of being aware of what was happening to them, even though they had technically gone beyond the threshold of death.
Why do you think that is?
Well, there's a lot to it. I should also add that among that group, 10% had a very deep, profound mystical experience that was very true to them. But interestingly, 2% actually had full awareness, could describe all the events that were going on that were validated. So of course the question is, why does that happen? And we don't have the answers, because to our scientific model, when people have died, there should be no more conscious awareness going on. But it sounds like maybe consciousness is able to continue. And by that, I don't mean that they're awake, but that entity that makes us who we are, makes Sam who he is, makes Rena who she is, the self, the mind, seems to continue and doesn't become annihilated after a person has gone through their process of death.
Were there any of the people that you studied that completely lost all consciousness?
Well, that's what I was trying to explain.
Yeah.
Everybody loses consciousness immediately as soon as the heart stops. It's not like they're awake and watching us.
Well, you mentioned that there were some people who remembered there was some sort of mystical experience that they were going through. Were there some people who said, nope, didn't feel anything, didn't?
So some people don't have any recollections. What we don't know is whether they had experiences and forgot it afterwards, and that may be what's happening. Because of course we forget a lot of things, and most of the people who are brought back have issues to do with their treatments. We give them sedative drugs, which wipes out their memories. So that's part of what we're studying now, is does everybody have this experience, and how long does mind and consciousness continue in some format, even though we've gone beyond the threshold of death?
Do you have some sort of conclusion as to how far the mind and consciousness goes?
Again, from what we can determine, which is actually fascinating, and it raises questions about our whole science, about what happens when we die, is that it appears that even though people have gone beyond that threshold of death and their brain has shut down, that entity that we call consciousness, the mind, the psyche, whatever you want to call it, does not seem to become annihilated. From the evidence we have, that at least tens of minutes, if not hours of time afterwards. How long beyond that, we don't know at this point.
For the folks who have lost consciousness and come back, have there been any long-term effects afterwards?
Well, those people who have these very deep, profound, mystical experiences, often they describe a sensation of being very peaceful, seeing a bright, warm, welcoming light, sometimes deceased relatives. And intriguingly, some of them describe a sensation of a being that they describe as being perfect and full of light and love and compassion. Those who have that experience are often very positively transformed for the rest of their lives. It's very profound, it's real to them. They become less afraid of death, they lose their fear of death completely. They engage in altruism, they're more helpful to people, they engage more with family. It completely changes them. So there's something very profound about this experience that they have.
We often hear people say, I saw the light, some sort of light. Why do you think it is that some people see that and some people don't?
Well, so there are two possibilities. One is that, as you said, only some people see it, and we think that, it might be 10%. But the alternative is that everyone sees it. But unfortunately, because of the medical treatments that they get afterwards in the intensive care unit by doctors such as myself, to save their brain, they forget it. And one of our new studies is trying to actually decipher whether people have had it but just forgotten about it. And so I think there is some evidence that more people are having it, but unfortunately they just forget it afterwards.
It's a fascinating study and a fascinating look into death and those final moments as well, and returning back. Dr. Samparnia, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Turns out that like 90% up to 40% of these people had actual experience while being out of the body. They were clinically dead, declared dead, and they had these experiences where they could see a loved one on the other side, or meeting even light beings, described as light beings, some kind of angels, call them what you want. They saw people with light, surrounded by light. Some people saw Jesus, some people saw just people who died that they loved. Other people were going through that tunnel of light, and people were going through very similar experiences of like the tunnel, the deceased ones, or the angels thingies, or the people on the other side. There was something on the other side. Some people experiment dragons, some people experience nightmares or ghosts trying to kill them. Some people even go to their desired reality called heavens, or even that realm that they lock themselves in because they feel too much guilt about their own life, which is called hell on earth. But there is no such thing as heaven and hell, except if you believe in it and want to go there. That's what people don't get. We seem to have this freedom as a soul to go wherever we go after death. And it seems that our religious beliefs influence where we go, or what we believe in general influences what we see on the other side. So how real is that experience? Or is it something that is made up in your mind? Or is it really an experience you feel after death? Or is it some kind of delusion because your brain cells are still working after death? Could it be some kind of like self-induced? But no, because you know what? Even if the cells still had some electricity and still some activity in the atoms to an atomic level, the body was still physically dead and the brain was still like almost nearly dead hours after the death. The soul kept living on. And delusion or not, this proves that while your physical body is still alive, at least, you can experience this out-of-body experience. I don't think you can experience it just through death or near-death experience. I think also it's possible through lucid dreamings, or even astral projection while trying to sleep. There were some studies on that. People use people and make experiments on them willingly, and those people were like laying down, putting some kind of frequency in their ears or some kind of like lucid dreaming mask, and they were monitored by machines to see their brain waves when they were sleeping. And turns out when they enter the REM phase, which is the phase in which you fall asleep very deeply and have dreams, and in which you can start to rest and like produce serotonin and stuff like that. Melatonin, sorry. All of these pheromones and chemicals that your brain produces and your glands produces when you sleep, so you can like rest and gain your energy back.
The time you've had a lucid dream where you knew you were dreaming. I'll go first.
For anyone who's skeptical about lucid dreaming, scientists were for a very long time, and then they thought of really ingenious experiments to test whether it was real. So they would get participants who were self-proclaimed lucid dreamers to come in, put them in an MRI machine, and get them to squeeze their right hand and measure how their brain reacted, then squeeze their left hand and measure how their brain reacted. Do that over and over so they had a good snapshot of what they looked like. Then they'd put them in there at night, put them to sleep, and famously, while you're dreaming, your body's actually paralyzed. It's so you don't act out your dreams and hurt yourself, but your eyes are the only part of your body that actually isn't paralyzed, hence the name REM, rapid eye movement. So basically, when the participants started dreaming and realized they were dreaming, they would give 3 deliberate eye movements to one side to show the scientists that they were self-aware they were dreaming, and then in their dream they would start squeezing their right hand and then squeezing their left hand. And what the scientists noticed was that obviously that wasn't happening in real life, but the brain scans that were going on at the time showed they were in fact mentally squeezing their right hand, mentally squeezing the left hand, and that was some of the proof that lucid dreaming happened. But the craziest study I have ever read about this had some participants bringing themselves to orgasm in their dream to show that they were lucid dreaming, and that was experimentally proved by, particularly in males, the mess it made. So yes, there has been experimental evidence for lucid dreaming.
And you know, these scientists in the past that people thought they were crazy, and like, I don't know what, 15 years later, 30 years later, even centuries later, they found out this scientist was right all along. So this is just what science is, really, questioning things and reevaluating things, testing new theories, new discoveries, adapting. And I think we have to stay open-minded as people, as like not close ourselves to possibilities, at least before experiencing these things ourselves. At least to prove to ourselves or through science that at least some part of it is real at some point. And I think it's very important to stay skeptical and keep in mind that those things might be or not be real, and to always question reality and your mental health to some degree, especially if you have like antecedent the genetical predispositions for that kind of thing. So you have to check this out. But those scientists were seen as crazy before, and now they're proven right. So imagine the possibilities. Just take the dinosaurs as an example. They're making new discoveries, and they're changing all the time what they thought they knew, because apparently they were wrong. So I think all these spiritual stuff is just like more advanced science stuff that people did not experiment or discovered or explain through science yet. And we're still progressing. We're still advancing in technology and science and every domain, and I think there's like a huge correlation between science and spirituality that people just don't understand yet because we don't have the tools to do so. But the future is there, and it continues to progress. Here's another proof of this. Let me show you.
Scientists are getting closer to recording your dreams. Pretty soon, your dreams won't even be private anymore. Japanese scientists have learned how to interpret what you're dreaming about by measuring your brain activity when you sleep. This data can then be plugged into an algorithm that reconstructs your dream so that you can see it when you're awake. Currently, researchers only claim to get the dream right about 60% of the time. But before long, you'll be able to simply play your dreams back when you wake up in the morning. Now tag 2 friends to blow their mind.
And that is just one thing. And there's so many advancements in science and technology that it just opens more doors. So you guys have to be patient and open-minded about those kind of stuff, because maybe in the future those things won't even be taboo anymore. It's like just try to evolve as a human being and try to be open-minded. Take things with a grain of salt, experience them when you're not sure. But you know what I mean, okay? So like just stay open-minded and see what's gonna happen in the future, and you're gonna see things are maybe not what they seem to be, and there are a lot of things that science will be able one day to explain. So just stay patient and wait until that day if you're not convinced yet after this video, you know. So yeah, they could like see that there were brainwaves activity, very much higher brain activity when they were in the REM phase, and where they were lucid dreaming, those brainwaves would go crazy and they could remember the dreams afterwards and control them. So there's something there. But see, those were not enough proofs for me to believe in reality shifting or astral projection as a whole, even though I had some kind of weird experiments a few years ago while accidentally astral projecting. But it wasn't sufficient for me. I thought maybe this was just like a very intense lucid dream or something else. So I had like, I think, sleep paralysis once or twice after that. And I've had 2 lucid dreamings, a lot of lucid dreams, but astral projection, I had these without having a proof that they were actually astral projection, so I just brushed off the idea and was like, okay, there's still a skepticism here, there's still some doubts that need more confirmations. So, being a mind witch that I am, I've asked the universe through the law of manifestation, the law of attraction, if the universe could send me some kind of sign. And I just browsed internet later and I've done some stuff. But like, shortly after that, after I asked the universe for signs, I randomly saw this on, I thought it was like my algorithm just sending me conspiracy theories again and being nuts all over TikTok and stuff like that. But no, I wasn't on TikTok. I was on YouTube, and it wasn't like a video that was suggested on my For You page. It was more like a kind of commercial, kind of weird commercial that popped out from a channel, particular channel. And that channel was talking about the Gateway process.
What is the CIA Gateway Project? In 1983, Lieutenant Colonel Wayne McDonald presented an extraordinary report to U.S. Army intelligence. Titled Analysis and Assessment of Gateway Process, it outlined a step-by-step guide to achieving out-of-body experiences for intelligence gathering. However, the report went beyond that. It revealed that our universe is merely a construct created by the mind, and through the Gateway Process, one could transcend this reality and travel anywhere in the universe and at any point in time. The Gateway Report was classified immediately because anyone could learn this technique. McDonald's analysis highlighted the existence of alternate states of reality and dimensions beyond our physical world and time. To ground his research in science, McDonald sought the expertise of biomedical engineer Itzhak Bentov and used quantum mechanics and physics to explain the out-of-body phenomenon. By synchronizing the brain's hemispheres, the Gateway Process enables participants to access alternate states of reality and escape the confines of space and time. The Gateway Report delves into holographic theory, suggesting that the universe is a hologram composed of interacting energy fields. Human consciousness, too, operates as a hologram, attuning itself to the universal hologram. By mastering the Gateway Process, one can elevate their consciousness, synchronize brain frequencies, and process information beyond the limits of our current reality. To experience the Gateway Process, frequency following response, FFR, and beat frequency techniques are combined. FFR involves introducing frequencies through headphones that the brain mimics, while beat frequency utilizes binaural beats to create oscillation between different frequencies. This process synchronizes brainwave frequencies and facilitates the exploration of alternate states of reality.
If you want to check it out, these files are still available on the official CIA website, so you can also check. And the video I saw explained that it was used during the Second World War, and to spy on enemy camps and enemy files. So at some point the CIA just declassified these files. You can still see it's available to the public. So if you don't believe me, you can still go and check there, so I don't mind. I swear to God, that when I saw that stupid thing, I was like, oh no, not again, not this stupid conspiracy theory about the Gateway Process and the CIA, the declassified files you keep seeing on TikTok and YouTube all the time. And I was like, please, not this again, I don't believe in that shit. Like, I knew the CIA declassified those, but I didn't know what was the Gateway Process, and I didn't care, honestly. I just thought it was some kind of rubbish theory that people came up with, so back then I didn't care about it, but this time, just after I asked the universe, just the way it put it on for me was so weird. This commercial popped on, and listen. The video was I was literally desperate and tired and sad, and I wasn't even thinking about asking proofs or having proofs anymore after I asked the universe. I didn't expect anything, so I just kept going on, and this thing popped on, and it literally talked about parallel dimensions and how your soul is free and can go to other realities. And I already knew about reality shifting, but I didn't really believe in it, at least not 2 months ago. And when I filmed this video, it was just talking about this Gateway Process and these frequencies that the people used in the Second World War to spy on their enemy camps and to find information into their office and to spy on their enemies in general. So what they would do is take those people, make an experiment on them, induce them. They would use that frequency that uses both the left brain and the right brain hemisphere, and they would just like combine and tune it together with the frequency, which is called a MySync frequency from the Monroe guided meditation. And then I was like, okay. It was supposedly creating an OB experience, which was basically astral projection, and they had success at finding some information and stuff around with that technique. So they declassified the CIA project, available for public now on their official CIA website. So this just the way that the video talked about everything I was doubting about. Not like before when it was just popping out randomly and just talking about the gateway process without explaining anything or anything that could help me believe in it, but this time it was different. I felt like this was like sent in my face for some reason, and it made so much sense. So I clicked on it and I was like, why not? I'm gonna try this shit, because I was desperate. I've been trying for 2 months and I barely had any lucid dreams, or I've had some weird shit happening, but like nothing that could confirm that reality shifting was real. So I tried this in MySync frequency for 4 days. First day, I swear to God, the first day I started to lucid dream very vividly. I even saw my DR, my SO, my desired person in that dream, and I was chasing her through snowy mountains and towns. It was incredible. The second day I've had dreams again, lucid dreams again. And today I've had 2 lucid dreams plus this mini shift I had. And this just like confirmed what I thought, that maybe shifting was with this frequency, whatever it is. It helps. It really helped. In 4 days I've got huge results, and I'm going to continue with that frequency. Now, how does this frequency works? You have to do this guided meditation. I'm gonna post all of this in the description. Use the Monroe guided meditation. Monroe guided meditation in the first place to tune yourself with that frequency and understand how it works, why it works, and everything. And then use that frequency every night. The other videos below without the guided voices and behind it, and just listen to the frequency itself for an hour or 2 a day. Now my REM phase is more in the morning, so I sleep more in the morning and have dreams in the morning. So if you're a morning person that dreams in the morning, try to do this in the morning after listening to this frequency all night, or part of the night anyway, and you're gonna have like very vivid lucid dreams in the morning. Now if you can't have lucid dreamings in the morning because you're like a night person, just try to sleep earlier and you're gonna have more times and more hours to reach your deep sleeping state of mind called REM. Now I repeat, I've tried other methods for reality shifting, like lucid dreaming method. It didn't work for me. Setting intentions, subliminals, nothing worked. But this frequency, I've been like trying it for 4 days, and I've had a very negative mindset about shifting, so it's really not related. So don't worry about the doubts and being sad when it doesn't work. It's just normal to be disappointed. And yes, it's gonna ruin your day, but it's gonna be worth it, because the next day you could be shifting, so keep hope. But yeah, you're gonna get result with this. Make sure that you can hear it on for a sufficient time, and if you can like stop the frequency and go back to sleep with the intent of whatever you want to do while astral projecting, do it. Think about it, visualize it, and while you listen to this frequency, you just fall asleep with the intent in mind, and it's just gonna happen. Like, you're not going to necessarily experience what you wanted to, but your brain, your higher self, or whatever you want to call it, is going to give you experiences in other times, maybe other realities. For me, it was a mini shift in the past, but it was so real and vivid. It was like, so what the fuck. Anyway, so yeah, this gateway process frequency really worked for me, so I really consider to continue with that, and I suggest you try it too. I've seen some people on YouTube trying it for months and years even, and those people said that like on the long-term scale they developed some kind of crazy weird abilities like seeing ghosts and being able to talk telepathically more, like hearing thoughts and stuff and crazy shit like that. So I'm really curious about the effects on the long term, and I'll update you guys for that. So have a wonderful week and keep hope. Reality shifting is just astral projection, and astral projection was proven by science, so at least when you're still alive you can do this. I don't know after death though, because I cannot really go there and come back, so I guess we'll never know before we die. But yeah, while you live, there's a proof that your soul can actually come out of your body and experience what you want. Because, like I said, your beliefs and your personal journey, emotional journey, traumas and stuff will all influence what you're going to see and experiment. If you have some shadow work to do, shadow work is like when you have to face your past demons to heal wounds from the past, or trauma, past wounds, or it can be anything in your past that made you suffer. Well, your mind's going to make you process all these things during astral projection, so you can move past those things and actually experience new things in life. And this is going to break any cycles, any repeating cycles of you being in like a bad karma in a bad place in your life, and you're going to understand the universe as a whole better. And you will understand that when you experience it yourself and it happens and it's like fucking real, you're going to understand that your soul is free. You can do whatever the fuck you want with it. You can warp reality, at least while you're sleeping or doing this astral projection thing. So I'm very excited about this. Very fucking excited. And I had to share it. So good luck, guys. This amazing thing, it's the key for what made me shift. So try it. I tell you, 1 day, 4 days, you're going to have results as fast as that. Good luck, guys. Have a wonderful day.